Nasty Heidi.
Benguiat.
Tell me that beat drop don't be hitting. Tell me that beat drop don't be hitting. Anyway, y'all, this week, actually Tuesday, c'est Fête Drapeau, celebration of Haitian Flag Day. We are here yet again, another year. So prepare yourself for the red and blue to be everywhere, on the socials and all of those things. And, Bonne Fête Drapeau to all of my Haitians out there. And, I will probably keep this as a yearly, I'll find different compa songs, but I will probably keep this as a yearly thing that I do. So, this week, I know y'all probably saw the time and was like, oh, this is a little bit long, but I have the pleasure of speaking to the author of Between Magic and Dreams. And we just nerded out, talked about some fun things, what they got going on with the next installment of their book. And I hope you enjoy it, even if you got to cut it up or what have you. Just check out the conversation and don't forget your magic. Pas oublier où c'est magique. No te olvides que eres magia. And enjoy the show. So, welcome to Creatively Exposed, finally, after standing your books. Tell the people who you are, what are the things that excite you, and what you do.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Brian D. Covington, author of Between Magic and Dreams. As far as interests or things that pique my interest, there's quite a bit, but ultimately I am your run-of-the-mill geek.
Here for that.
There's comics, there's video games, there's anime, there's movies. In fact, because of my recent delving into Instagram, I've discovered quite a few indie comics that have really blown my mind, because there's something about there's something that kind of springs to mind when you hear indie comic, and in a lot of ways it's not always good,
right?
So there's a triad that I like to point out when it comes to comic creation, especially indie comics. Story, art, and story, art, and cost, right?
Got it.
So if the story and art are top notch, you expect to pay.
Right.
Now, I don't mind paying $10 for a comic if A, it's of top notch quality, B, the story is at least interesting, and I guess C, if I don't think I'll walk away with buyer's remorse.
Right.
But this is the reason. If you're dealing with an indie comic creator, there's a lot that comes out of pocket.
Yeah.
A lot. I recently looked into doing a comic for Between Magic and Dreams. I'm thinking of doing a
Oh, that would be so dope.
I know, right? But I'm thinking of doing a 3-part miniseries, because there's so many characters and there's so many stories. And the most interesting part about it is the extent of the variation of their points of view. So I was thinking I could do that. And then I started looking into the cost. If you want one of the artists that blows your mind to do one of these books. Ouch.
Yeah.
This cat is talking $200 a page.
Ooh.
This is just black and white, mind you. Not a speck of color, not a single letter.
Lord Jesus.
But I tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
If I could land him to do this, it would be everything I want for my baby. So it really comes down to that and how you want your piece to be presented to the world, because that's where things fall off. I've gone to so many conferences and I've seen people with the comic books and I'm like, oh man, okay, cool, what you got? And the illustrations are done by the author. And that's not always bad if you're an author with some mad skills with the pen. Right. But
we can't be everything all the time, though.
Yeah, you wear too many hats, you just look stupid.
Yeah, this is facts.
So the story was like great. He was telling me about it. He's ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. I look at the book and I'm like, oh. And it's because when you decide you want to cut your costs,
something suffers.
You don't want to cut it when it comes to the actual visuals of your comic.
Right.
That's what grabs people.
Right.
People, I mean, they say, never judge a book by its cover, but that is not the case.
The world does, yes. Yes. It's like, it's the outside that's like, do I really want to read this though?
And that's why I put so much into like my cover, because it's like, I want people to know that yes, this is a fantasy book, but it's not like what you would normally find. Because I went and looked at the Garden Variety and all the covers look practically exactly the same.
Because it's usually the same person that is doing the drawing, to be honest. They usually have that one person who has like a contract with everybody and it looks the same. And that's part of the problem too.
And I think it's the fear of stepping outside of the box. And you see it everywhere. Even with big companies like like Marvel or Disney. I mean, they can just as easily give us new characters or new Black characters for that matter.
Yes, that is something I was really discussing with my cousin.
Yeah. I mean, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Right? They rolled the dice with, say, Guardians of the Galaxy. Right? Nobody knew who they were. I saw that comic book plenty of times and skipped over it for who? The X-Men.
Right. And forever the X-Men. Okay. I know. But they could put in the money because they have this major bandwidth. And what's cool is I was just in Washington and my cousin's also like a nerd, anime, comics, the whole nine. And he was discussing like, how do you feel about, getting these like predominantly and usually white characters on screen, not exactly the comic, and then it becoming the Black character. And I'm like, I love it for those getting the check, but like, how about we also discuss like how we can have completely new characters, and that is where the whole thing could change something for the Black and brown community.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to sit back feeling like Oliver Twist because I got a couple of crumbs and
it's like we've been had Superman since God knows how long. Cool, he's a Black guy, but like imagine the powers an actual Black guy could have. It would be popping. The universe, the world building, and it's like you could literally invest in that and create something that would blow everybody's mind.
Yeah, and there's no shortage of it. That's what I'm coming to find. There's no shortage of it, and there are people who put work in, like serious work. And I'm like, dude, how are you doing this?
Yeah. I recently had my mind blown because I've never been to a comic shop, and I know you're local from where I live, right? You're in Florida?
Yeah, I'm in Groveland, just outside of Orlando.
All right. So comic book shops. I haven't seen many here, like in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went into this, like I was in Washington, and it's a comic book shop. And all of these, like, there's hardcovers, there's the trilogies, there's things, and I'm just like, where have I been? Where have I been?
Well, time. I come to find
Also,
yeah. When people get to talking, there's this gentleman who I recently met on Instagram. Also Graphics.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets on and gets to talking about anime and comics and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, I've really been under a rock.
Right.
Because when I'm writing, I don't read. When I'm writing, I don't play my games. When I'm writing, because it takes a lot of effort to do that.
Yes.
Right. And whenever I play my games or whenever I read my comics or do my books or whatever, I like to be fully immersed. So I'll wait till everybody's asleep. I'll wait till I'm not at the house, because there's always going to be an interruption.
Right.
Even with my writing, I do it at night to not constantly get the knock on the door. So it's definitely something that once I get started on that, I can't really
focus on it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But
and let me ask you about world building. Like how like I'm here in like a standing position, because I'm just like, yo, like the way and the intricacies and like the different things of the world were just so vivid to me. And I just want to know, like, how, where did it come from? Where did the initial idea, all of it?
So for a second, I was like, wait a second, what are we talking about? but so yeah. So in between Magic and Dreams, it was it was an idea of how far back does history actually go?
Okay.
And then it was the idea of how much of history was never recorded and how much has actually been forgotten. Because I feel like embedded in our DNA, embedded somewhere in the cosmos, the Akashic records, wherever, it's there, right? It's recorded. And as we live, the things that we imagine are snippets or maybe flecks of these lights that were once ongoing civilizations or whatnot. And I'm like, what if we have all these stories of all these creatures, and as it turns out, all that stuff was there, but we're here now through means that we don't understand.
Right.
And it went further to the idea of like, what if the realm of magic had things on lock so much that whenever someone had an idea of something that involved a prosperous machine or medication, something that's not of the means through which are typical at the time, how would that be looked upon? And there are going to be people who want to push forward. I mean, the entrepreneurial spirit alone is going to be like, yeah, I hear you talking, but I'm gonna do this.
Right.
So, I mean, does the main denominator is fear. And we all experience it, whether we want to admit it or not. Even when you're getting older, I'm coming to realize that I'm becoming obsolete.
Lord,
I pick up granted, I haven't played in a minute, but I'll pick up the controller, try to kick out those same combos, and start cramping up.
These ain't the same fingers that we're playing before.
Where my fireball at? I'm doing it,
Right.
And it's like I look at, was it competitive games, tournaments, arenas filled. I'm like, man, I was born 10 years too soon.
Right. Because it's so wild. Like, you know, you used to have record of most kills and all of that. I like shooting games. I just like shooting. I